The Irish Republican Army, known as the IRA, refers to multiple paramilitary organisations, all of which claim descent from the original Irish volunteers that were formed in 1913. The primary objective of these organisations has been to achieve an independent, unified Ireland, ending British rule in Northern Ireland. The history of the IRA is complex, and it has undergone several phases and splits over time. The Irish Volunteers were initially formed in response to the Ulster Volunteer Force, a loyalist organisation opposed to Irish Home Rule. When World War I broke out, a majority of the volunteers supported the British war effort, but a radical minority, later known as the Irish Republican Brotherhood, sought to use the opportunity to strike for Irish independence. This led to the Easter Rising of 1916, a rebellion against British rule that was quickly crushed but catalysed Irish sentiment for independence. Post-1916, the Volunteers became the Irish Republican Army. The IRA waged a guerrilla campaign against British forces from 1919 to 1921, which became known as the Irish War of Independence. The conflict led to the Anglo-Irish Treaty, partitioning Ireland into the Irish Free State in the south and Northern Ireland, which remained part of the United Kingdom. The treaty caused a split in the IRA, leading to the Irish Civil War from 1922 to 1923 between pro-treaty and anti-treaty forces. The pro-treaty forces emerged victorious, and the anti-treaty IRA went underground. From the late 1920s to the early 1950s, the IRA saw little action, mostly engaging in minor attacks and focusing on political activities. An attempt to revive their fortunes came with the Border Campaign in 1956, targeting British installations and infrastructure in Northern Ireland. However, the campaign failed to garner significant support and was called off in 1962. The late 1960s witnessed the beginning of the Troubles, a 30-year ethno-nationalist conflict in Northern Ireland. Sparked by civil rights protests and rising sectarian tensions, the IRA saw a resurgence. In 1969, the organisation split into two factions: the official IRA, which adopted Marxist-Leninist ideas and aimed for a united socialist Ireland, and the Provisional IRA, which maintained traditional Irish Republican objectives. The Provisional IRA embarked on a campaign of bombings and shootings that lasted nearly 3 decades. Their tactics included bombings in mainland Britain, attacks on British security forces, and kidnappings. British forces responded with counter-insurgency measures, including internment without trial. The conflict claimed the lives of more than 3,500 people, including civilians, British security forces, and paramilitary members. By the late 1980s, it became clear that a military victory was unlikely for either side. Peace talks began, culminating in the 1994 ceasefire and the 1998 Good Friday Agreement, which established a devolved government in Northern Ireland and a roadmap for disarmament. The Provisional IRA officially ended its campaign in 2005 and decommissioned its weapons. Although the Provisional IRA ceased operations, splinter groups like the Real IRA and Continuity IRA continued sporadic attacks, albeit on a much smaller scale. These groups have been classified as terrorist organisations by both the UK and Ireland. The IRA has been the subject of controversy and debate, regarded by some as freedom fighters and by others as terrorists. Its history is inextricably linked with the broader history of Ireland and the United Kingdom, and its actions have had a profound impact on politics, society, and global perceptions of the Irish question. The Irish Republican Army, known as